Hey guys, I'm Jay. Today is my LeetCode review vlog on the 238th problem, product of array except self. We are given an integer array nums, return an array answer, such that answer of I is equal to the product of all the elements of nums, except nums of I. The product of any prefix or suffix of nums is guaranteed to fix in a 32-bit integer. We must write an algorithm that runs in big O of n time and without using the division operation. And let's get started with the intuition first. So the first intuition that comes to my mind is the division. We could multiply every element in a nums array and we divide the nums by the element at each position. But the problem told us division operation is not allowed. So we have to come up with other approach. The second simple approach that comes to my mind is we could use a nested for loop. We have two pointers I and j, and we have to iterate through the nums for two nested for loop. If I equals j, which means we found the specified element itself, then we skip the element and then we multiply every element in the nums except for the element itself, and then we got a product. Let's get started with our code right now. First, we could create an answer array with new int, and the length should be nums.length. Then we have to create a for loop with I equals 0 and I less than nums.length. Increment I, and inside the first for loop, the first step is we have to create a product so far and should be initialized with 1, as 1 is very easy to multiply every element by itself. Then we could create a second nested for we could create a nested for loop. Let's say integer I equals 0, integer j is less than nums.length, and increment j after each iteration. And inside the nested for loop, the key point is we have to check if I equals j. If the statement is true, which means we meet the element itself, we have to skip it to avoid multiply it. Continue. If the statement is false, we have to calculate the product so far for this element. So product so far multiplied nums of j by itself, and after the end of the nested for loop, we have to update the value of answer of I with the value of product so far. Finally, we have to return answer array. Then let's check our code. if it is got accepted. Oops. Our algorithm didn't get accessed. There are 24 test cases, but only 19 of them got passed. And the problem is time limit exceeded. The reason is our code doesn't have a very good time complexity. And let's analyze the time complexity for our code. The time complexity is big O of n squared, as we have a nested for loop, and the space complexity is big O of 1, as we only create a product so far variable to solve the problem. And this is the first solution, which is a nested for loop. We can also call it a brute force. It is not such a good algorithm, but it is very simple and is straightforward. Then we could imagine if there is a better solution with better time complexity to solve the problem. And the answer is yes. And a better solution is we could use a two-pass approach that involves prefix and suffix products. So the intuition is a two-pass approach. And let's start with a code, and we'll explain every code with detailed reasons. First, we could initialize the answer. The answer array, and the length of the new answer is num.length. Then we have to use the arrays.fill method to fill every element in the answer with the value of 1. The reason that why we do this is we set each element as 1. Then it would be very easy to multiply every prefix product and suffix product by itself. Then we have to set the prefix product for each element. This is the second step, which is. But before that, we have to create an extra variable to store the current prefix product for the current element, which is current prefix product. And we initialize it with 1. And the reason is also like the above one. We have to multiply every prefix product by itself. So 1 is very easy to do that. Then we have to calculate prefix products. And the detailed code is we can use a for loop, and the condition to keep looping is I is less than n, and increment I each iteration. Inside the for loop, the first important step is we have to update the current prefix product to the answer of I. Answer of I equals to, multiply the current prefix product by itself. And the second step is we have to update the prefix product for the next element. And the code should be current prefix product multiply times equal nums of I. Let's understand the code with the test case here. Let's say we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So the first element comes inside, and the code should be 1 times 1. 1 is the first element, and the current prefix product is 1. So the answer of 0 is 1. And then we have to calculate the prefix product for the second element, which is it is also nums of 0, and the result is 1. So for the second element 2, his prefix product is 1, and that's the code. The key point is we have to multiply current prefix product first, and then we can update the current prefix product. The order shouldn't be changed, and this is the second step. For the third step, we have to create a current suffix product with 1. Then we can have another for loop, I equals 0. It shouldn't be started with 0. For the second for loop, it should start with n minus 1. The orientation is in reverse. It's reversed, and the condition to quit. The condition is I is bigger than or equals to 0, and we have to decrement I after each iteration. Inside the second for loop, the first part is also the same. We have to update the answer of I with the current suffix product. Then we have to update the suffix product for the next element. Let's understand this code with example 2. So n is 4, so I is 3. Answer of 3 is 4. Answer of 3 would start it at 1. Then it would multiply the current suffix product, which is also 1. So the result is 1. And then we have to update the suffix product for the third element. And so the current suffix product should be updated to nums of 3, which is 4. And when we calculate the third element, answer should multiply 4, and which meets the condition the problem asked for. That's the third state. And for the final state, we just return the answer array, and that's all of it. Then let's submit the code check for the answer. Oops, we have to correct the name of the method. real solution. Oh, and n is not correct. It should be num stop length. Yes, it is got accepted. Then let's analyze the time complexity first. The time complexity is big O of n. As we have to for loop and we iterate the nums array twice, and the n stands for the length of the array. Then for the space complexity, it is big O of 1, as we have only two variables to help solve the problem. And thank you guys for your watching. This is the end for my LeetCode review vlog of this problem. You can also check for the detailed notes of this problem on my GitHub repository here. I will put the link on my YouTube description below. And thank you guys for watching. See you next time.